about you?
Good, getting closer. Almost to game day, so I've had a good week. You know, kids really came locked in on Tuesday, and I thought Sunday was kind of I don't know if they felt it, but our scout team did an outstanding job getting our guys prepared. We're obviously deeper in our scout field. Sure, I think we're rolling 2 defenses out there for our offense, and same thing on the offensive scout team. So they did a great job preparing us this week, and we'll find out what we got Saturday, 4 o'clock. With the University of Massachusetts. Expect a good football team to come in here. Expect them to come in and play the best game they will play all year. They'll be motivated. They hadn't played for a long time and only got 4 games in last year, so I'm sure they're excited to play, and we're excited as well. So, questions?
I know you talked about being happy to not have to have a mask and some of the parts of your job that the pandemic has affected. How much are you and this team looking forward to running out of that tunnel with fans in the stands and the band and the cheerleaders on the sidelines and kind of all the things that
coming out for the national anthem? We're excited. It just feels like a whole new year. Last year was, one of the weirdest years you'll ever find, and I think it's going to be fun. Everything. I mean, just the pageantry of a real football game. We missed it a year ago. We were having scrimmages in empty stadiums, and it's going to be great to have fans there. There'll be a lot of excitement. Guys will have to control themselves. It's been a year since they really had some good crowds here at Heinz Field, and it's something to look forward to.
What was your reaction to the gift that was announced this morning, and what was Mr. Bickle's message to the team?
His message to the team was, just take care of the details, and he's behind us 100%. Obviously, Chris Bickle, the reaction was, something I've known for, a month or so. Maybe I've known since the summer. He's a guy we've built a relationship with for a long time, and he's a football guy, and he loves his program. So it's an amazing gift. We're thankful. Our entire team wrote him a thank you note a week ago, a personal handwritten thank you note, because we knew this day was coming, and he was awesome. He's like the head coach of his company, and he's had a ton of success. He's done it the right way, and our kids realize how important that is, and it's a great gift and something that we're thankful for.
In the press release, it said that half of that gift is going to be used immediately. In what tangible ways do you see that being used?
We won't get into what for whatever we need to get done. And there's some projects we've got on the line. We won't get into it right now, because then you guys will be like, why didn't it happen sooner? We're working things out. One of the things we'd like to do is expand the weight room, I guess. But let's talk UMass football and Chris Bickle, and let's not worry about where it's going right now, but we'll get to that.
We talked to Charlie the other day, and he said with UMass having so many transfers that you guys were going back and looking at different things. To a certain point, I mean, how far back do you go and scout, and is it too much at sometimes?
Yeah. It can be too much, but it's never enough. I mean, you can go back as far as you want. We went back to, Walt Bell was at Maryland, his last stop there was at Maryland. And he was the offense coordinator calling the play. So you look at the similarities of what he was doing at Maryland. Went back and watched a few games there. Spent a lot of time studying the Michigan State 2016 game, where you're seeing the same concepts show up that they do there. Some little variations as far as where the tight end is. So we've gone back pretty deep and looking at what kind of 4 games last year they didn't have a. Even until desperation play at the end of the game, what are they going to do? Are they going to be in a 3-by-1 set? They're going to be 2-by-2. What's their go-to when they need a big play? We know we're going to see a bunch of tight end shoots, kind of like Miami did to us. We know we'll see some of those, so we've got to cover those tomorrow. And they'll do a bunch of different stuff. They came out with a muddle huddle against Michigan State, so they will throw everything at us that they can, hoping for a big play.
They struggled last year. How do you make sure you get your guys' attention, that they're focused on what they need to?
Well, I think I think they're focused. I think you find that out during the week. Where are they serious? Is that Bickle calling you?
I'm calling you.
But I think obviously you find out on game day. We'll know after the game, at the presser afterwards, how locked in they were. But I see a locked in team like they were last year at Austin Peay. Our guys were focused, and I sense the same maturity right now out of our guys. They'll be ready to go, and so will UMass. So, not knowing what you're getting, I think that's a good thing for our team. Not knowing, it's going to be adjustments, from the first snap to the last snap of what they're doing, how they're doing it, who's their personnel, who's that guy, who's in the slot receiver spot, who's at tailback, who's kick returns, what's their Mike linebacker look like. I mean, all those things. I think it'll be a great game, and we'll have to be locked in.
What have you seen from some of the guys who didn't play a lot last year because of injuries, like like Hava, Lucas, Wendell? Like, how have you seen them kind of getting ramped up to say, okay, this I'm ready to go again this year?
We've seen it since the beginning of August. I mean, Lucas has had a very, very solid camp, and we're looking forward to seeing what he does on game day. Hava played quite a bit last year before he banged up his hip a little bit, and Hava's had a great camp. I mean, he's a guy that we expect to see a bunch at. Damari Mathis, another guy that hasn't played for a year, but has gotten better almost every practice, if you can imagine that. I mean, he was a little rusty, I thought, in the spring, but there was no rust when fall camp started, and he's been good.
When you put a
I remember you said, I think it was early spring when you guys got back. Damari was like tackling people when you guys were in shorts.
Yeah.
So he kind of like settled back in.
He's definitely settled down. We only had 9 days in tackling drills, so he was good. I think this football team, has done as good a job as anybody, or as any team we've had here since I've been here, as far as just staying up and keeping guys healthy. We're healthy going into this opener.
when you put an or on a depth chart on a Monday, how does it affect a player's practice throughout the week with two guys maybe fighting for that same spot on Saturday?
I hope it affects them. I hope they're looking at it going, am I going to be the guy getting the reps or not? And the one thing we just say is, hey, you're going to have opportunities when you get out there. You earn your opportunities on game day. You get 10 reps, you get 20 reps, you get 30 reps. Show us what you have on game day, and that's where the competition begins and ends.
Did you see that in practice this week with some of those guys?
No doubt about it. I mean, you're always going to. We see it every day. I mean, when you guys see the one depth chart, we see a depth chart every day. We go through a depth chart every day of where they are. First day in pads, usually at that first scrimmage, there's a lot of movement as far as, just moving guys in front of people. And our coaches will go back and watch today and still go, this guy had a really good Thursday, this guy didn't, and we'll base things off of that.
UMass left tackle, I think, has been to 4 schools. Do you go back and look at all 3 of those?
Which depth chart are you looking at, Jerry?
You're
You're right.
Yeah.
But the latest depth chart was, chaos, I thought. I mean, the latest depth chart, which I wouldn't believe, had like 4 redshirt freshmen starting on the O-line. But I expect the North Texas, kid to be probably starting at left tackle, and the Michigan transfer started at right tackle.
right tackle. Well, but my point is, this guy's been to 4 schools. Whether he's left or right tackle doesn't matter.
Right.
But you go back and look at all 3 of those other places where he played.
Not all 3. You look at the latest one. I mean, and try to talk to whoever you can just about what's his mental makeup. That's the nice thing about transfers is you can go, you can backtrack, not only watch tape, but go back and talk to people that at those different institutions and say, hey, how was he there? What did he do? We know enough people to just get an idea. But whatever they said in the past doesn't matter. These kids, they move on through the portal. They get new opportunities. They get new coaches. They get a fresh start, and they're obviously Power 5 guys. Whether it's corner from North Carolina or tailback from Rutgers, they all have another opportunity to come make plays, and they all want to play in the NFL. I don't care if you're UMass, Pitt, or Alabama. They all have aspirations of playing in the league, and they want to come show what they have in Heinz Field Saturday.
All those transfers must add extra time to your preparation. How much time do you guys put in your Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday night?
Well, I mean, a lot. I mean, you're trying to do as much homework as you can, whether it's fielding phone calls from somebody that or watching tape. But we got people's jobs that are to, hey, get us a tape on these guys. I don't need to see 100 plays. I need to see the 50 plays he's in, and some guys there's more tape than others.
What kind of camp did AJ Davis have? Because a lot of talk about Izzy and Vince and even Rodney.
Right. Right. AJ had a great camp. I mean, I think he got better every day. He really did. I mean, he's mature. With you're not knowing if you're going to get a 3 down front or 4 down front. He's a guy that you feel comfortable going in there, regardless of what he sees of in the run game. Reading the right guy based on the front. If you're throwing the ball protection wise, I mean, he's the most mature guy in that room, and I think he's gotten better. I've been very, very proud of how he's handled himself through camp.
Is that an area you mentioned, protection? Is that an area that Izzy and even Vince, but more so Izzy because he's younger? Is that an area he still needs to grow in?
Yeah, but he's like 100 times better than he was last year as far as protection goes. So we feel comfortable. But it's nice when you can see 2020. Like next week we'll have tape and go, okay, here's who they are. These are the looks you got, and I'm sure we'll see new looks. But with not knowing if they're going to be 3 down or 4 down, and we've practiced both. But you split your time on what you're doing. front-wise and protection-wise. So we're ready for it all.
How much will you watch the Tennessee game tonight?
Well, we have a bonfire. Anybody going to the bonfire tonight? So I'm gonna miss, but we'll have a DVR. My kid's got DVR'd already. I don't know. I couldn't DVR myself, but they'll have a DVR, so I'll be watching it. Yeah, watching it.
Have you named starters yet at middle linebacker, free safety, and kicker?
We have in this room. You find out on game day. We have though, Jerry. Yes.
You have. Okay. So I'll bet you knew about at least 2 or 3 of those positions before Monday. My own opinion, I think probably. You just didn't want
Jerry,
to
you
tell
got
us.
your own opinion.
You didn't want to tell us.
Eric Howlett's going to start the free safety position. I'll give you that one. But Rashad's going to come right in. We feel great with both of them.
Okay.
So I don't know. You mentioned the kicker. I'll let you hang on that one.
And middle linebacker.
And middle linebacker, we got 2 good ones there. We'll see.
Hey, you
I don't want
mentioned,
UMass to know. I wouldn't mind if you knew, but I mean they gave us this bogus depth chart, this college football.
you mentioned at the start of camp about only having the 9 padded practices. Of the things that you're anxious to see, is that one of the physicality in a game setting? Is that?
I mean, it's making those plays on a game day at Heinz Field, yes, but I really feel good with the way our kids have tackled, as good as we've tackled. I think the thud periods were good for us because you got to keep your feet moving, you got to stay up off the ground and still make a tackle. So I'm not worried about us having. I'm not worried about us tackling. If I was, we'd have had more tackling practice. I want to make sure there's a fine line. Get those 9 practices and just beat the heck out of each other, and and get your tackling. And all of a sudden you're going with half your guys. So I'm happy with where we are, and I'm not worried about the tackling. I'm worried about guys making plays, but we'll be ready to tackle. We'll be physical.
How much do you consider this, start of a new season, especially coming off the pandemic year away, to sort of build some enthusiasm with the program? You're talking about this big donation. Does it feel like it's almost like a new start, even though this is your 7th year, because last year was kind of such a wash from such an engagement standpoint?
What's the question?
Does it feel like there's some fresh, like it's a bit of like a fresh new thing, like you can re-engage with people that haven't been to a football game in 2 years now?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't look at that. It's we've been working for a long time here on this. I mean, since our game got canceled, bowl game got canceled, whatever. Since December, we've been ready for a new season, and we're ready. So I don't know if it's a fresh start. It's 2021, and we're ready to roll.
What time do you guys leave here on a typical game day night? What time do you go home?
Game day night.
Well, I mean game week. Game week night. Like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Sunday.
This week is not. Next week will be a little bit later, but 9:30, 10 o'clock. Sometimes you sleep overnight. It just depends on what you want to do.
You've done that here?
Oh yeah. Except I don't have my pillow anymore. All my pillows. I got to get a new pillow set because I haven't stayed yet. My pillow, my comforters, my sheets. Rodney Hammond, when he got it to camp, he came in my office. He's like, "Coach, I don't have any." He had nothing. He didn't have a toothbrush. He got dropped off for college and didn't have anything, which is the first time I was like, "Shoot!" I went right in my cupboard there in my office and pulled out. I said, "Here you go." I asked him the other day. I said, "Hey, you still got my pillow? You still using it?" "Oh yeah, Coach. Oh yeah." It's like good.
what are the emotions for you, like on the first game of the season?
Emotions. I mean, it's like I told our kids. I don't know if it was yesterday or this morning. There's stresses, there's pressures. There's good pressure, bad pressure. But prepared teams. You're going to have butterflies. I mean, I get butterflies. I would imagine every player on our team and every staff member is going to be like, "Oh, let's go." I mean, you get nervous. I was actually more nervous on Monday than I am right now, just because you get a good week of practice in. But you naturally get nervous. I mean, for ball games, I mean, I get nervous and excited, and but once that first kickoff and that first hit and that first play, you calm down, you go, and but it's always get juiced up for it. It's fun.
Anything final? Where do you sleep?
Where do I sleep?
When you sleep
on the couch over there. Yeah, I shut the blinds so you can't be walking out there looking. But yeah.
We used to have the coordinator here who slept in his office. He had a block mattress in his office and blankets over there.
Who did?
Well,
Many moons ago.
Yeah,
Many moons.
before you got here.
Yeah. So I mean, we've always, that's always happened. So East Lansing, not as much, but there was a couple nights there. But I only lived 2 minutes down the road. 25-minute drive home at 10 o'clock. It's like by the time I get home and then I have to get back here at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's like, why did I waste my time? So that's the main reason.
Coach, thank you very
Okay,
much.
all right, guys.